What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? It's your buddy, Josh Thomas here, joined by your other buddy, Mr. RogersBase.
Hi!
And we are going to be talking about the latest Nintendo Direct, the March 2018 Nintendo Direct. There is so much stuff to cover here. I'm excited to chat about it. Obviously, this is always a fun thing. We're doing it live. We're going to do it live. Should we get into it, Roger? Are you ready?
I am 100% ready. I have been ready. It depends on what we're going to talk about first. I think we should save a certain something for last.
We'll save it for last because it was the last thing talked about.
Exactly.
We're just going to go right down the list here, okay?
Okay.
The first announcement that we got was for the Nintendo 3DS, and it is a new micro game collection, sort of a best of WarioWare, and it's called WarioWare Gold, correct? WarioWare Gold? Yeah. So, just really quick, as many of you know, I kind of hate the idea of new Nintendo 3DS games. I think it's ridiculous that we would still get them. We need to move on to the Switch. But I will say, there are a few that I might be okay with. This is one of them. I feel like because this has a lot of touchscreen games in it, and there's like the tilting from the, what was it called, WarioWare Twisted? Yeah. So I feel like, honestly, I think I'm going to buy this. I'm okay with this. And it kind of fits in line with Rhythm Heaven Mega Mix, so they fit perfectly together. So this is cool. I'm fine. I think, obviously, eventually we'll get WarioWare for the Switch. This isn't one that I needed on the Switch right away. 3DS never got a WarioWare, so you know what? Fine. Perfectly fine with this. Looks cute. I'll buy it.
Sweet.
Roger?
I'm kind of on board with you. The thing is, like, I've never been a huge WarioWare fan to begin with, which I know is kind of like blasphemous.
Yes,
saying
it
that.
is.
I'm just like, I've never really been a fan. I really did like Twisted, though. And, yeah, I mean, I'll definitely play this. I've always enjoyed when I've played the WarioWare games. It's just I've never really gone out of my way to buy them. Like, Game & Wario, I think, was the only one that I actually skipped. I've picked up all the other ones.
Okay.
WarioWare, to me, too, I feel like even after the 3DS is dead, I think they'll probably end up making WarioWare games. We'll eventually get one on Switch, I'm sure. But I could see that being a franchise that eventually moves to mobile. I think it would actually work on mobile pretty well. And but yeah, for the time being, I'm happy with this. I think it's a cool announcement. And if they're going to make new 3DS games, I'd rather them be things like this.
Yeah. Game & Wario, it's funny. I think I might be one of the few people who actually enjoyed some of Game & Wario. Like, I don't think it's a terrible game. There were some things that were definitely really fun. Like, there's a game where you throw those little Franck things onto an island, and it's got like a target on it for points, and seagulls fly by and take the little thing. It's actually, I think some of that game is underrated, but I agree. This is good. I like this. Not bad.
Yep.
So they moved on. You think that's going to be full price, by the way?
I think it'll be, how much was Mario Top 100?
That was $40.
Probably $40 then. Yep.
Okay. Then we moved on to a rather weird announcement with a brand new Dylan's Rolling Western game. This
actually was shown off in a direct prior to this one in Japan. It was just never officially announced for North America. Yeah, so this was shown off for the first time during the mini direct that happened a couple months ago in Japan. So they've actually known about this for a while, and we've known this game existed for a while. It was just that we didn't know if it was going to be coming to North America. I think it has a different name in Europe and Japan. But yeah, I'm happy about this. I always liked the Dylan games. I think they were fun little tower defense action games. And yeah, I was happy about Dylan being added as an assist trophy in Smash Brothers too. So I hope he comes back for the eventual Switch game.
Wow, I did not know this was old news.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's called Dylan's Dead Heat Breakers. You know what? I really like the Dylan games for the 3DS, but this one, for me, I'm a little less accepting of than WarioWare, because I really would have loved to see this on the Switch eShop. I think it would have been a nice time to, bring the series over to the Switch. And then also, it looks like ass. Can we say that? Visually, this looks terrible in 2018. That was one of my biggest things that I noticed about it, was just how absolutely dreadful it looks. But
the only thing about this game that sort of stands out to me, and I think the reason why they kept it on 3DS, is one, because again, you don't want to just have a barren year for 3DS if they do want to continue making games for it and selling stuff. But two, I do think they wanted to complete the trilogy. And now that the trilogy's done, for the next Dylan game, they will probably end up putting that on Switch. Considering the fact that there's touchscreen capabilities for some of the games that got announced during this Direct for Switch, we'll probably end up seeing it on Switch at some point. I wouldn't even be surprised if we got like a Dylan's Rolling Western trilogy on Switch in a year or two.
That would be cool. I would like that. Yeah. The Switch is home to many ports, as we all know.
Yep.
Yeah, I think that one is one. There's a demo coming May 10th. I'll probably I don't know, maybe I'll try the demo. I don't think I'm going to end up buying that, but I would have bought it if it was on the Switch. So, I don't know. We've got this one really surprised me, Roger. Mario and Luigi Bowser's Inside Story is coming to the 3DS as a remastered game. What are your thoughts on this?
I don't care about Mario and Luigi at all.
Okay. You know what's really funny? For one thing, this is surprising because they just had a Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga remaster on the 3DS. And surprisingly, well, not surprisingly, but maybe to some people, it didn't sell that well. So it's very interesting. It kind of tells me that this game must have been in development alongside Superstar Saga, because I don't think they would be going by the sales of Superstar Saga based on making this one, because it actually did kind of poorly. So it's,
what I think is more interesting is the fact that this is a 2019 game.
Yeah, that is really weird, especially considering it looks done.
Yeah, it does pretty much look done.
So yeah, I'm always more of a Paper Mario fan, more than Mario and Luigi. But I hear that this is the best Mario and Luigi game, for whatever that's worth. So maybe there are some people excited about that. But I just think it's a bit odd because Superstar Saga sold pretty poorly. And so, yeah, I think this one was probably in development alongside that. But that's coming.
I've heard the same thing from Mario and Luigi people, that like apparently this one is the other really good one alongside Superstar Saga, and that it was a good thing that they skipped Partners in Time, because apparently everybody hates that game.
Well, you know, it's funny. That's the one that I played the most of. So I don't know.
That's the one I haven't played at all.
Oh, really?
In fact, I haven't even played Bowser's Inside Story, so I shouldn't even say. Like I said, I'm not a huge Mario and Luigi fan. I played Superstar Saga, and then I played a tiny little bit of one of the other ones, but I don't even remember what it was. They all sort of like blend together to me.
Yeah, and just like Superstar Saga's remaster, this has something called Bowser Jr.'s Journey. I'm not so sure how in-depth that extra side content is. It seems like it's not quite that detailed. It's just an extra little thing. But I love Bowser Jr., but I'm not going to get this. Again, this is another example, though, of something that I probably would have got if it were on Switch. But I don't know, whatever. I imagine Mario and Luigi will find its way onto the Switch someday. So yeah. This one, I think you might be interested in this next game they talked about. I'm not sure. Detective Pikachu.
Yes, I actually am very excited for Detective Pikachu, because the game came out in Japan. People said it was really fun. And this new one that's coming out, I think it's coming out in like a month, isn't it? It's coming out really, really soon. And the Amiibo that's coming out with it as well. I got really good reviews. The first 3 episodes of this one that came out in Japan separately on the eShop got really good reviews. And this one apparently has a ton more in it, and there's like a new campaign or something like that, and like a new story mode, and of course it comes with the Amiibo as well. So like I am actually really excited for Detective Pikachu, and here's hoping to an eventual Detective Pikachu costume for Pikachu in Smash as well.
Yeah. Oh God, you have to. Yeah.
Yeah.
This actually comes out March 23rd, so you're right. It does come out very soon.
Super soon. Yeah.
Yeah. How big is that Amiibo? Is it like 2 times, 3 times bigger than a typical Amiibo, or?
I think it's like a little bit bigger than the Bowser Amiibo from the Mario Odyssey set, to give you a perspective.
Oh, I don't have that one, so I don't really know. Oh,
yeah, it's pretty big. It's pretty big. Yeah.
Do we really need to talk about the next thing they discussed?
You and I are in agreement that we are both disappointed by this, actually.
I did watch your reaction to this, and I was very happy that you weren't excited about it.
Yeah.
So Mario is Luigi's Mansion is being ported to the 3DS, which is a very disappointing thing for me. I don't really want to talk about this too much because I actually have a 20-minute video where I talk about this, and I analyze why I don't like the idea of it. And Roger, you might be proud of that video because it isn't just me whining. I think I'm actually doing a decent job of presenting my argument. I'm trying really hard to do that these days. So
yeah, I do think too, like, this does make sense from a business perspective to do this.
Does it though?
Because I think it's just for one reason, because I think they're probably making a new Luigi's Mansion game for Switch, and they want to have something else for the holiday for the 3DS, because I'm guessing that new 3DS next holiday, considering the fact they're still making games into 2019, will probably still be a thing for Nintendo. And what I'm expecting is we're probably going to get a massive price drop for the new Nintendo 3DS XL, because right now you can get a 2DS for like what, $60, $70, so you can't really drop that any further. But I could see them really moving a ton of systems over the holiday if like the big game for Switch is going to be Smash Brothers, and then maybe like another game that we don't know about yet. I could see them maybe really pushing like a really cheap version of the new Nintendo 3DS XL alongside Luigi's Mansion. So I do think they want a somewhat big game. The Luigi's Mansion games have always sold really well, especially Dark Moon. Dark Moon sold incredibly well on 3DS, and I figured they probably think, you know what, this is something easy. We don't have to put a lot of development time into this because we're putting a lot of development time into Switch games. And, you know, between this and WarioWare, there'll at least be something for the kids on 3DS. And with Mario and Luigi on the horizon, I do understand where they're coming from, but as you mentioned during my live reaction, yeah, I was not happy about this. I was like, man, how amazing would it have been to have an HD remake of Luigi's Mansion on the Switch? Would have been so good because I love that game. But at the same time, you know, and I think you would understand this more than anybody considering how down you've been about ports coming to the Switch, I would much rather have a new Luigi's Mansion game. So if this means that they're going to end up making a new Luigi's Mansion game for Switch instead of like focusing their efforts on making HD assets, I am totally okay with that.
So I'm actually okay, a few things to say about that. Let's just go back real quick to the idea that it makes sense from a business perspective. I don't think it does. If you look at the reaction that everybody has, I mean, I'd say 85% of the people reacting to this are saying, I would have got this on the Switch. I'm not getting this on the 3DS. So from a business standpoint, it clearly, I mean, I would bet my life on it. This would have sold 2 to maybe even 3 times the amount of sales on the Switch as the 3DS. So I
would still say 3DS has a 70 million install base,
but,
and there will be games that are, I know, but one sec, and there will be other games coming out for Switch this holiday, and I think it would have cannibalized those sales, whereas 3DS is its own standalone system, and I do think that, like, because Luigi's Mansion is something that came out in GameCube, there's a whole generation of kids that never played the original game, and it's really not easy, and you know this, to get access to, like, GameCube games if there's not a GameCube Virtual Console. There's really no easy way to play those games, and they're expensive. So to re-release it on 3DS for that new generation of kids, again, who's never played it, who maybe only played Dark Moon, I do think it's okay. And again, I think they could at least tie it in as a big game for the holiday for 3DS to tie along with the price drop. Because, again, I would be very happy to see this on Switch, but this is one situation where it's like, okay, if they have all these other games coming out this holiday and, you know, they already have this giant install base, again, I would much rather have a new Luigi's Mansion game than just like a port. And that speaks to a potential Virtual Console on Switch as well. If we do end up getting a GameCube Virtual Console, if they ended up just re-releasing this, it would kind of all be for naught. Since we do know that the Virtual Console games that are going to be on Switch, and so far they've only talked about the NES and Super Nintendo ones, are going to have some type of new functionality. So maybe they won't just be straight ports if they end up bringing like GameCube Virtual Console over. Maybe they will be HD up-resed versions. Who knows?
Well, I think you're kind of overestimating how healthy the 3DS sales are right now. There was a bit of a boost in the hardware sales, but that was mainly because a new Pokemon game came out. Well, 2 new Pokemon games came out. But if you look at the software sales for a lot of the other stuff, it's just not doing it anymore. It's not selling really well. Like I said, the Mario and Luigi thing like sold quite badly, actually. And also, you know, 70 million 3DS systems sold. But I did a poll somewhat recently on Twitter asking people how many 3DS systems they own or 2DS systems, and the vast, vast majority said they own at least 2, which means that okay, 70 million 3DS systems have been sold, but that's not 70 million unique users. In fact, you might even be able to cut that in half. And then you added the fact that it's a 7-year-old system. And also, as far as little kids being able to play it, I think a lot of kids, honestly, as much as I hate saying it, are actually playing on their parents' phones or iPads these days and probably don't really have an interest in Luigi's Mansion. And I think something like this really would have sold to somebody like you and I, who might have a nostalgia for the GameCube days, older people who would have loved the opportunity to play that classic game in beautiful, glorious HD on their new awesome Switch system. So I think this, in every way, is just a complete strikeout for Nintendo. But and just really quickly, as far as a Luigi's Mansion 3, this might sound ridiculous, but I don't really even want that. I would have genuinely preferred an HD, polished up Luigi's Mansion, kind of like what they did with Wind Waker HD on the Wii U, as opposed to a third one, because to be honest with you, I really don't like Luigi's Mansion 2, and let's face it, Next Level Games is who Nintendo goes to for the Luigi's Mansion series, and I just don't think they have it in them to make something that I would, you know, like.
I still kind of understand. Again, I'm not happy with this. I think I've been open about saying this multiple times. I am not happy with this. I would have rather had it on Switch. But I am saying I do kind of understand where they are coming from, because the Switch is having like a bombastic year already with all the stuff they announced, and with new stuff on the horizon. I mean, E3's on the way, and we still don't know like what's going to come out in the holiday that's going to get announced at E3. Presumably there will be something on top of Smash Brothers. We didn't even see Yoshi yet, so I think there is just honestly a surplus of stuff on that system. And I do think that while yes, people like you and I would have picked this up, and this is all anecdotal, I have seen a lot of other YouTubers, like one in particular, Cinnamoni Bonnie, tweeted out like, I've never played Luigi's Mansion. I can't wait to pick this up on 3DS. She's never played the original game. She's going to get this. Like, there's other people, even though the two of us talk about Luigi's Mansion a lot, and there are a lot of people who, again, like you said, do have nostalgia for the game. I still think they want to use this as sort of like a last swan song for the 3DS to really clear out those systems this holiday. Because I do think the last game will probably end up being that other Mario and Luigi game that comes out in 2019, and I'm assuming it'll be like January or February or something. And they do kind of, if they want to like really make a push for the 3DS and get them all out of the way, like they'll probably need to add another game. And I'd much rather it be like a Luigi's Mansion port or like WarioWare or whatever than something like a new Pokemon or even like a new original game in one of the other franchises. So again, I'm okay with it. I understand it. I'm just not happy with. I'm not happy with it because I like Luigi's Mansion. You know, like I would have loved to play this in HD. But again, at the same time, I get where they're coming from, and I'm totally okay with it. And again, I would much rather them not port this to this Switch. Again, like you said, I think an HD version would be awesome, but I want a new one. And maybe not next level. Maybe they could just have like the team at Nintendo in Japan make it, and that'd be great. But at the same time, again, I understand why they're doing this. So,
side note,
I'm not happy about it, but again.
Side note, I actually tweeted back to Cinnamoni Bonnie and told her, "Oh my God, please play the GameCube version instead." And she ended up buying off of eBay instead of getting the 3DS.
Are you serious?
Yes. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, you know, it is what it is. Like I said, I got a whole video talking about it, so we won't go on anymore about it. But
I'll watch that. I'll watch it.
Yeah, hopefully it's good. I think I'm putting some effort into it. Then that brought us into, thank God, that finally brought us into the Switch. And we first had some information about Kirby Star Allies, which is a game that comes out very soon, actually. I think in like 8 days or so. And I gotta be honest, the footage they showed in Kirby Star Allies looks more interesting than anything they've shown about this game since, because a lot of the levels look different than what they've shown. I'm still not convinced to personally pick it up. But yeah, it seems like they also obviously added in, you know, the whole point of talking about it was to show you all these like legendary Kirby characters that will be joining your potential allies in DLC.
I like that Rick is in it, but I'm upset that Adeline is not one of the extra people. They did say they're going to add new partners later on down the line, so I do hope that Adeline and Ribbon from Kirby 64 are thrown in there. But I do like Rick the hamster and like Coo the owl and stuff. I think it's really good. Even putting like Marks from Kirby Superstar in there, who's like this psychotic final villain, that they're going to make him like a happy little partner in Star Allies is kind of goofy and fun to me. But yeah, I do like that they're showing off more of what actually makes that game original. I think my review copy is going to come in probably like next week, because I got an email from Golan letting me know that I'm going to be getting a review copy of that. So I'm excited to play through it and do some videos, probably for Game & Vlog. I probably won't put that on my main channel. But yeah. I actually do think this looks like a much better Kirby game than any of the recent ones beyond like Epic Yarn and Robobot. I really liked Robobot a lot because it did something different, and I like the multiplayer aspects of Kirby games. So I think to me this it really speaks to me. But yeah,
I'm interested. Is there no so we have all these like crazy characters that are being added as allies. And I've seen in some of the video, it shows like player 2 is like Rick and Kine and Coo or whatever that is. I don't know what that means, but it's like it's showing other players being Bandana Waddle Dee and Meta Knight. But is player 1 always restricted to just being Kirby? Because unless you're playing with other people, you wouldn't be able to play as them, and they're just characters that walk alongside of you.
I don't know. I'm honestly not sure. I don't have the game in my hands, and I honestly don't know. So
I hope you have the ability to just be like, you know what, I want to be Meta Knight, or I want to be Bandana Waddle Dee.
Just go through the whole game. That'd be fun. Yeah, I'd like that.
Because otherwise, like in my
quickly, we went through it really quick, as you mentioned. Oh, and finally we're on to the Switch stuff. I do want to mention that was something I want to give props to Nintendo for. The entirety of 3DS announcements during this Direct took place in the first 5 minutes of a 35-minute Direct. Yeah. So kudos to Nintendo for finally doing that. I think not the one that was in January, but the one that happened at the end of last year had like so much 3DS stuff in it, and it genuinely made me upset because I wanted more Switch announcements. So I do want to give them credit where credit is due, that it was only 5 minutes spent on that system.
In that 5 minutes, it was a roller coaster for me, though.
Yeah, I know. Me too.
But by the way, as a correction, it actually comes out March 16th, which is not in 8 days. That is in about 6 days at the time we're recording this. And it's a free update on March 28th, and that'll give you some more Star Allies.
And there will be some cool videos of Kirby Star Allies hopefully coming out soon. So stay tuned. That probably makes some sense to you guys right now in the chat, but just stay tuned.
From your channel or from Nintendo?
We'll see. So just
Okay.
please understand. I can't say anything. So
Please
just
understand. Moving on. This game is one I think I will actually buy because I have very fond memories of it. They are bringing Okami HD to the Switch. It's going to be download only, which I don't care because I don't want physical Switch games. So I'm okay with that.
So you and I are in the same boat then. I love having all my stuff just on the system.
It's ridiculous to not want that, I think.
Games. I have 1-2 Switch, Zelda, Splatoon 2, and a Dragon Ball game. And Splatoon and Dragon Ball were sent to me from GameStop, and 1-2 Switch and Zelda came with the system when Nintendo sent it my way. So, like, yeah, everything else I have on the system is digital, and I just love the idea of being able to hold everything in the palm of your hand. Like, you could be anywhere and literally just say, I want to play this game in my massive library, and you just click a little button, and boom, you're good to go.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I have Zelda and Splatoon 2. Those are my 2 physical copies of games, and those are my most played games, and it's just such a pain in the butt to have to keep switching those little cartridges in and out. So I am totally all digital as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, Okami is a masterpiece. I love that game. And the thing about Okami, too, is they just released it like a month ago on PS4. The HD remake, it was like $20. I'm telling you right now, I'm going to double dip because, like, I feel bad. It was only $20, so I'm not going to get my money back if I go to GameStop. But this is definitely a game that, like, I really want on the go. I'm just a huge fan of Okami. And to have it on a Nintendo system, too, just feels kind of cool. And I have it on Wii as well, so I guess it would be triple dipping, but it is what it is.
Yeah, so I have not played a ton of the game, and my first time playing it, Dan forced me to play it when we lived in Florida at our apartment the first time, and so my memories of Okami are actually really enhanced just by the fact that I was playing it like when I was in Florida, and I have great memories of playing it at night. And you know, it reminds me a lot of a game that would be like a skip type game, like Chibi Robo, Captain Rainbow. It's sort of like that with the way the characters act and talk, and I have, you know, I played it on the Wii, so it was standard definition, and so I think it'd be really neat to play this in HD. And
you
so,
will love the hell out of this. If you haven't actually through the game before, you're gonna love it. I already know you're, because it's like Zelda mixed with a skip game. The humor is very much skip. You know, I wouldn't say like the script is entirely because it gets kind of dark. But like the humor is for sure.
Listen, skip games get kind of weird and dark too. But no, I mean, I've played maybe about 3 or 4 hours of it, and I really, really enjoyed it. So this to me is exciting to be able to buy this on the Switch. So I'm down.
Yeah.
Keeping with Japanese themed video games, this one is confusing to me. Sushi Striker is coming to the Nintendo Switch, I guess, as well as the 3DS. Is it out on the 3DS already?
I have no idea. I think they're actually going to do a simultaneous release, which is what they announced with Treasure Tracker as well. Yeah. That happened a lot during this direct. It's like, oh, it's going to be on Switch, but also 3DS, and it's like, oh, okay. And see, but now I go back to the Luigi's Mansion.
I was just going to. That's why.
If they could have done both, then that
is why. That's why I sarcastically said, yeah. But this game, I don't know. I mean, if this is like an $8 downloadable game, maybe I would download it if I saw a bit more. I do like puzzle games, so I don't know. Maybe it's just not something I'm excited about. So yeah, I don't know. I would imagine like if I was gonna get it, I'd get it on the Switch instead of the 3DS. This is the game that reminds me of the time that you thought they were going to show Smash Brothers at E3, and instead they showed that. I
literally was waiting for that. I remember being on the show floor. I think I even texted you. Yeah, Bill Trinan made a tweet being like, hey, if you're not at the booth right now, like, you better get here. We're going to announce something new. And so me and D1 and a bunch of other people who were like at the show last year literally ran from the other hall to go to Nintendo to like see what they were going to announce on stage. And it was this. And I just remember this overwhelming feeling of disappointment. But it all ended up okay in the end. So we're getting Switch. I mean, we're getting Smash, so we're fine.
It's called Sushi Striker: The Way of the Sushido, and it'll be available on June 8th. We don't know the price yet, though. Or
We don't.
That is definitely an eShop game, though, right?
I think so. I don't think they're going to be
There's no way that's not an eShop game.
Then again, there's some crazy games that I would not expect to be released physically that I've seen like in Target and Walmart that are actually out on Switch, and I'm like, whoa,
First party or like third party?
Third party.
Okay.
Yeah, not first party.
All right. So then we move on to a game that I really don't have any interest in. I'm not saying it looks bad, but it's just not my kind of thing. And that is Octopath Traveler. They dropped the project Octopath Traveler. Now it's just Octopath
Traveler. Yeah.
You know, it looks like it's got a really cool art style. I think the art style looks neat. I like the combination of like pixel art on 3D models and the really advanced lighting and stuff. But this seems like it's more of a game that Roger should talk about than me. So Roger, what do you think about this?
I mean, it's right up my alley. It's a JRPG. I wasn't super excited by the two different new characters. There's like the merchant and the apothecary. The apothecary seemed interesting, I guess. Like, both of them seem interesting. I love the demo that was on the eShop. I played through that on both of the sides, and I thought it was really, really fun. I love the music of this game. I love the visual style of the game, everything you already brought up. And I love that this is July. I really honestly thought this was going to be one of their big holiday releases because it's a big third-party exclusive from Square Enix that Nintendo is publishing, but it's not. It's coming out in summer, which I think is so good. It's coming out right after Mario Tennis, like during the perfect month where I don't usually have anything to play, and now I'm going to have this big epic JRPG to go through on my Switch. I'm super happy about that. I'm probably going to pick up the collector's edition because I like the map and the coin and all the other special soundtrack stuff. I love the visual style. Love everything about it. Cannot wait. Yeah, you know I love my my anime JRPG games, so I'm stoked for this.
Well, I mean, like I said, as far as anime RPG games go, I'd say this one actually looks more interesting than the typical one.
But did you ever play the Bravely Default games on 3DS?
I played. I did. I think I played the original one, and
did you like it?
I didn't. No. A lot of people hated on me for. I took hate for that for about 4 years after I reviewed it, and
I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't like hate you for it because I wouldn't say that's a game you would enjoy.
Right.
That's an RPG game for people who like RPG games.
Yeah. I remember one of the things that annoyed me the most is I don't like that you just randomly encounter bosses from walking or battles from walking around. And I mentioned that, and everybody was like, "This stupid idiot doesn't know that you can turn that off." So we don't talk about that game anymore around here.
Okay. All right,
I've learned not to review games that are clearly not my thing to begin with.
Yeah.
But that comes out July 13th.
The thing that is your thing and the thing that is my thing that I think we're going to talk about next, Mario Tennis Aces.
Oh, you skipped something.
How this is finally the Mario Tennis game that we should have had on the Wii. We should have had this on the Wii. Ultra Smash was a pathetic excuse of a video game. I am so happy that we finally have a real motion-controlled, optional, multi-court, awesome roster, new crazy chain chomp and Waluigi throwing roses. I love, love, love Mario Tennis Aces. I'm so happy for this. Real online? We could play online with friends, Josh. We could play online. There's unlockables. There's new outfits. Yes. Gimme. Inject it in my veins right now. Yes.
So since you're hyped and excited about this, we'll go into this now. But there were a couple other games that you jumped over. But let's talk.
We'll talk about this now.
We're going to talk about Mario Tennis. So yeah, like you've said, it's a major update from Mario Tennis Ultra Smash, which is one of the worst games to ever arrive on a Nintendo system.
I agree.
This one, you know what I really liked about this? What stood out to me is they are clearly putting a lot of thought in the just basics of the gameplay. You have all these special moves and all these techniques you can do, like the zone shot, and you also have the racket breaking, and you have zone speed, all this really neat stuff, and you have your energy gauge. So it seems like, one of the problems with a tennis game, I feel, even power tennis sort of, is it's certainly a very straightforward experience. It's hitting a ball back and forth to each other. So adding all this intricacy and strategy into the game, I think is just going to make it that much more interesting and enjoyable, and it won't get stale like a typical tennis game might, do. So I love how much thought they've just put into the core basics of the gameplay. It looks great.
Yeah, I absolutely, positively love everything about it. The only thing I'm hoping for is I really do hope that one of the unlockable characters is Pauline. But I actually have faith this time around that we will get cool unlockable characters just based on that little thing they said with the online tournaments and having more unlocks. So I do think they're going to continue to add stuff to this one. It's not just going to be like, oh, you want Pink, Gold, Peach, and Metal Mario? Here you go. Dry Bowser or whatever. It looks like it actually has like a fun roster. When I saw Chain Chomp, I genuinely freaked out. I don't know if you saw my full live reaction, but I loved the fact that they have Chain Chomp with a tennis racket in his mouth.
It's pretty silly.
It's great.
You know what an asshole I am. So I love the idea that you can break your opponent's racket.
Oh, it's great.
What? I mean, think about it. Winning a game of tennis is one thing. You know, you won because you had more points. Great. But winning a game of tennis because you broke your friend's racket, that is amazing. That is some bragging rights right there. That's all I'm going to try to do. That's just such a great idea. I love that. I also really love that there appears to be multiple costumes for characters, because we've seen some of them just in their normal clothing in this trailer, and we also saw some of them wearing the tennis gear. So I hope they have, you know, multiple costumes for all the characters. That would be a great unlockable.
It's already been announced. They talked about that during the tournament section. They said that in addition to new characters, there will be unlockable costumes for characters. So we are getting that.
I have to say, it's a little weird though that the unlockables are handled through online tournaments. It makes me think that we are going to get spoon-fed unlockables over a long period of time, which I don't necessarily prefer. I would prefer you get these unlockables through the story mode or something like that. But as long as there is unlockables through like normal conditions, like, you story mode or whatever, then I'll be fine.
Yeah.
So if they can get it up to like, okay, Mario Power Tennis, I believe, has 18 characters. So if there are 18 characters to unlock without the online tournament stuff, then I'll be cool. But if it's like there's 15 characters and then in like 5 months, maybe you'll get a few more or something, I don't love that. So we'll see where that goes. But I like a lot of what this game is putting down here, and it looks pretty damn nice. You know what, Roger, I know this sounds crazy, but can you imagine actual tennis courts? There's multiple tennis courts in this game.
Yeah, I love the forested one with the beautiful grass. There's even like the clay court again is coming back with the blue and the red. Like, there's a lot of new courts, and the story mode looks fun. I saw some people in the chat, though, saying that everybody's going to play as Chain Chomp. False. Clearly, you don't know me well enough. Of course, I'm going to be playing as Rosalina in her cute little skimpy tennis outfit. That is a guarantee. That is my main.
Yeah, I wouldn't play as Chain Chomp either. I feel like Chain Chomp would make more sense in a Mario Baseball game, because in Mario Baseball they have all those like random, enemies. So I mean, I think it's funny that Chain Chomp is in there playing with, a tennis racket in his mouth, but I don't think I would default him. So yeah, I don't think that's the case. But yeah, it just looks good. We've got like you mentioned, the forest is a court. We also saw what I think is like a haunted mansion court. You've seen them playing a mini game against like spirit orbs. We saw like a temple with PD Piranhas. So yeah, it seems like, we got some courts. I will say though, I like them. They seem a little bit on the like basic side as far as their theming goes. I really hope we get some like strong themed courts. Like, I don't know, I'll just throw something out there that you might agree with. A tennis court in New Donk City, right?
Oh, I for sure we're going to get... If they're putting New Donk City into Captain Toad's Treasure Tracker, we're going to get a New Donk City stage in this.
Yeah, I just hope that there are tennis courts that reference like specific games. And hey, you know what? If you want to put like some DLC later in the line, like later down, take some of those power tennis courts and bring them back and HDify them. Like, the Mario Sunshine, Luigi's Mansion, Luigi's Mansion would make a lot of sense because they're, doing... So yeah, well, I'm really curious to see where this goes.
I think you mentioned you wanted 18 characters in like the base game. We already have 16 confirmed that we've seen. So we will probably end up having 18.
Yeah, they did mention in the direct though, they said more than 15 characters. So knowing Nintendo, that could mean 16. But hopefully not. Hopefully there are more.
It could.
But yeah, we'll see. I just really like that. You know what? The biggest disappointment for me, I was very sad that I was right. It comes out in June. I remember I was tweeting about it. I was like, wait a minute. Donkey Kong comes out in May. Labo is April. March is Kirby. That's going to put Mario Tennis in like June. And they lied. They said spring. June 22nd is 2 days into summer. So this is a summer game, Nintendo. Don't lie to me. But yeah, that's a long wait. But you know what? Hopefully that means it's worth it. If I have to wait a few more months to make a game that's actually worth buying, fine. But yeah.
And isn't there going to be like a test fire type demo?
Yeah, it'll probably be in June. They didn't say exact date.
So we'll be sooner rather than later.
Yeah. So yeah, it's interesting. I like it. Good job, Camelot. You're redeeming yourself. That brings us on to Captain Toad Treasure Tracker being ported to the Switch and the 3DS, which is pretty crazy. Thoughts on that? So I own this game. I loved this game. It's one of my favorite Wii U games. It's like in the top 5 Wii U games for me. Maybe even top 3. But I don't want to buy it again just because of New Donk City being a little puzzle or something like that. It just doesn't seem like there's enough new content for me to...
Well, for me, it's perfect because even though everybody told me it was amazing, I never actually owned it on Wii U.
God.
Maybe 5 to 10 minutes of it, and I don't have a Wii U anymore, so it's great. So I'm going to get to play it for the first time. This is maybe blasphemous, but I am interested in the 3DS version for one reason. which is that they mentioned specifically that it's going to have like impressive 3D effects. And I feel like there's very few games out there that are released now for 3DS that really take advantage of the 3D. I think Samus Returns did a good job, but that's pretty much it. And I think this is the type of game, since you're like looking around these blocky type of areas and everything's sort of like done in this 3D block style. I think it might actually look kind of cool in full 3D. So I don't know, if I have an option to like do a review of one or the other, I might end up choosing the 3DS version. But at the same time, if it's really good, I kind of want to have it on my Switch. So we'll see.
Fun fact, Roger, in the year 2000 and I think 13 or 2014, before Treasure Tracker was even announced for the Wii, or the Wii U, I did a video saying that they should bring a game focused entirely on the Captain Toad levels in Super Mario 3D World to the 3DS, because I said it would I said it would look really cool in 3D, these little diorama worlds. And lo and behold, once again, Nintendo is taking my advice. No. No, you know what? The 3DS version looked like it was about the same. I mean, obviously it's not going to look as pretty, but you got the little touchscreen things on the bottom, which you would have had on the Wii U, which you wouldn't have on the Switch version. So I don't know. It depends on, you know, probably personal preference. But that's a fantastic game. I own it, so I'm not going to buy it again. Unless there's like a lot of new puzzles, then maybe. But yeah, if you haven't played it, I would strongly recommend getting it one way or the other.
Definitely.
It's better than Super Mario 3D World, by the way. So, and
I believe that. I believe that. I mean, I'm not a huge fan to begin with. You already know that. So,
I got to say, though, that new Donk level looks pretty damn cute. So it's tempting. If they have like 20 new levels, I might be stupid enough to rebuy it.
Yeah.
So that moves on to Undertale, which is a game that I didn't even know people talked about anymore.
I am so happy this is coming to Switch.
Okay.
That was one of my favorite games from, I think 2015 was when it came out, 2015, 2016. I literally named it my game of the year. I adore the Undertale. If you have not played it, I know you're very anti-pixel games. Just look past it. I'm telling you, you will enjoy this. It's like Earthbound. It was actually originally created based on like a mod of Earthbound. The guy Toby Fox, who created this game, made like Megalovania, which is the song for the final boss in the game, in an Earthbound mod like years ago. So he's a huge Earthbound fan. The humor is very Earthbound-esque. It's a very original type of RPG, and it's pretty short. And I think it's like, while there are certain moments of it that are very difficult, I do think it's something that you could actually get through and that you would really enjoy. So when it comes out, I definitely think you should play it.
Well, brace yourself, Roger, because I own Undertale on Steam, and I did play it.
Oh, wow. Have you really?
Yeah.
I'm proud of you. All right, good.
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was, as far as this type of game goes, I liked it. It was only, the problem was I was playing it like live and doing like a Let's Play of it. And as I'm assuming you're aware, Undertale fans were insane when it comes to people playing it. So it was nothing but people yelling at me, telling me I'm doing things wrong and what an idiot. So that might have been what turned me off from playing it anymore. So yeah, maybe I'll pick it up on the Switch and try it again. I would prefer to play a game on the Switch other than Steam. But yeah, I didn't know though. I thought like this was something that came and went and nobody talks about it anymore. So I didn't know.
People love that game, man. And I will definitely double dip because I'm like you. I have it on Steam. But I will for sure get this so I can play it on the go.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is another one, a game that was very popular, and we're talking about Crash, of course, the Crash Trilogy. Again, I mean, I sort of have the same feeling with this when I saw it, which is, does anybody still talk about this? It seems like it kind of came and went, and the hype is sort of gone, and now Nintendo's finally getting it. I imagine this will sell well, though. I don't know. Like, what are your thoughts on this? I've never been... I always looked at him as being generic.
I think it will end up selling very well because the Crash Bandicoot remake that came out last year actually did do incredibly well. The numbers were like crazy high for Activision. And this does seem more like a Nintendo fan type of game. Even though like Crash used to be the PlayStation mascot back in the old days when me and Joshy were growing up. But like at the end of the day, yeah, I'm happy that this is coming to Switch too. I probably won't get it just because like I'm not a huge platformer fan. And I probably have like no interest in going through any of those old games, but I'm really happy it exists for people who actually want to play through those games for the first time. So yeah.
Neon Black Rager in the chat just said Crash is better than Pikmin. I want that person. Get him out of there. Get him. Throw him out. Take his coat.
I'll ban him right now. I'll ban him right now.
So yeah, I mean, I probably won't get this, but I did enjoy watching a lot of people like play through this and get mad at how difficult it was and stuff. So yeah, I mean, that's, you know, a thing. I'm just not personally into it, but yeah, I'm sure it'll probably be in the top selling games on the eShop or whatever.
for sure.
That comes out July 10th. That brought us into a game. I don't know what either of us thinks of this. It's that weird, creepy game called Little Nightmares Complete Edition.
I've heard good things, but it is not my aesthetic at all.
No, it looks, yeah, that looks like the type of game that would just depress me to play.
Yeah.
I mean, it looks well made. I mean, I'm sure it's clever and well made. It's just not my thing. It's nightmarish and weird. You can scan your Pac-Man amiibo to wear a Pac-Man hat thing, which seems a bit odd, but okay. It's like a Tim Burton game. You should love it. You love the Nightmare Before Christmas version of the Haunted Mansion, you little puke.
No, but see, Tim Burton, no. It's a little creepier than Tim Burton. Tim Burton's creepy in like a Disney-esque way.
Okay.
This is a little too creepy. I like macabre stuff. I don't like creepy stuff, and there is a difference.
Oh, well, listen who you're talking to. King of
I like
Halloween.
The Addams Family. I like Nightmare Before Christmas. I like that kind of creepy stuff. I like the Haunted Mansion, like the regular Haunted Mansion. I just went on it yesterday, so there you go. But yeah.
That comes out May 18th. It seems like it's been available. Well, this is true for a lot of games on the Switch, but it's been available on other platforms, so I'm sure people have already played it and checked it out. And speaking of that, South Park, I love the way the announcer was pronouncing this title when they were talking about
Fractured Butthole.
The fractured butthole. Yeah. I genuinely burst out laughing multiple times from that, just because it's like, it's a Nintendo Direct, so you can't say the fractured butthole. You have to say the fractured butthole. Yeah, I mean, I think it's cool. I've seen people talking about wanting this on a Nintendo platform. The South Park guys are big fans of gaming and big fans of Nintendo, so it's cool to see this on here. I mean, I don't really watch South Park a lot, but I do think it's a clever show, and I like it. Whenever I see it, I'll watch it, if it's there. And this is a really popular game that's really well made, so it's cool to see it coming to the Switch. It comes out April 24th.
Definitely. And the thing is like with South Park games, the only one that I've ever actually like played through, even though I heard the one right before this one was actually pretty good, was the really terrible one with snowball fighting on N64 when I was like 10. I was the only one that I played, and I think that it came out the year of like Ocarina of Time. That was like 98 or something. It came out like at a really bad time to be a bad game because there were so many good games that were out there. And so that's like my only memory of playing South Park games. But I mean, I like South Park as much as the next guy. And even though I didn't play the last one, I will probably end up playing this one eventually, especially having it on Switch. If they end up having like a discount on the eShop at some point, that'd be great. Yeah. And I've heard it's very well made. And again, Trey and Matt have been like totally behind making these games. They like really are involved with writing the script and hiring people. So yeah, very cool to see it. And another win for Ubisoft on a Nintendo platform too. Ubisoft
is always so they're really supportive of Nintendo. Like even the Wii U, they had stuff at first coming to Nintendo's. It's funny you mentioned though the N64 game, because that's pretty much my experience with South Park in video game form as well. It was it was that game, and then it was Chef's Love Shack, which was a weird
Chef's Love Shack.
It was a weird trivia game mixed with mini games, and me and my cousins would play that, and we never knew any of the answers to the trivia, so it was just whoever could buzz in first and hopefully get it right. So yeah, it's nice to see South Park games actually have quality for a change these days. That's coming to the Switch. Hyrule Warriors Definitive Edition. I'm amazed that isn't out yet. I would have assumed that was out. I own it on the Wii U. I don't really have any interest in owning it again. It comes out May 18th. Roger, thoughts?
Cool.
Okay, is there a lot of hype? I don't know. Like, I never hear anybody talk about wanting the Switch version of Hyrule Warriors, so I don't know. Maybe.
Well, I played a lot of it on Wii U, and then I played a little bit of the 3DS game, and I was like, ooh, this is pretty
3DS one was a terrible port. It just couldn't
Not a good
handle
port at all. And also, I really liked Fire Emblem Warriors. And we talked about this. I really liked Hyrule Warriors, and I really, really liked Fire Emblem Warriors. But the things that are in Fire Emblem Warriors are kind of like the gameplay elements I really liked are kind of tied to Fire Emblem and make that unique. And so going back and then playing this one, like I've already played 100-something hours on the Wii U. I have enough other games to play through. I probably won't go back and play through Hyrule Warriors. And if I really do want another Warriors game, I'll either play Fire Emblem, or they recently announced One Piece Warriors is coming to Switch. And in fact, I already own the Japanese version from the Japanese eShop on my Switch, so probably won't end up picking this up when I have a One Piece option and a Fire Emblem option to play through.
All right. Then they announced some stupid thing with ARMS. It's not new content or anything. It's just like, hey, we're doing another test punch, and there's some tournament thing going on.
Yeah, I mean, I'll play it, but I wish it was another character.
Okay.
I love that game. You already know that. We've talked about this before.
I very much dislike that game. You know that as well. So, moving on. That brought us into, oh God, I gotta say, I am just in love with Splatoon 2 at this point. It started off so disappointing, and they managed to really bring it together. So there's quite a bit of stuff to talk about. We've got version 3.0 coming. It has the X rank, which is something I don't need to worry about because I will never get to that rank, I'm sure. But really good players, I guess that's exciting. Then they also talked about the fact that there's 100 new pieces of gear coming, which... Make fun of me all you want. That is like one of the most exciting things ever. I pop in Splatoon after midnight every night to see what's in the shops. I'm all about that Splatoon style, Roger, as you know.
Man, I've been playing it literally all day today because of the Splatfest. I'm curious, are you team chicken or team egg?
I am team logic, which would say that the egg obviously came first.
Nice. All right, cool. Yeah, we're on the same team.
Isn't it? Why is the egg the yellow team and the chicken is the white team?
I gotta be honest, I was playing a lot of matches earlier today. I think this is the most disgusting color combination they've come up with.
Well, it looks like yolk.
It's yellow and white.
Yeah.
And it's like, what were you thinking, Nintendo?
Can I just say, I'm just going to say what it is. This is Team Piss versus Team Cum.
I'm glad it came out of your mouth. That's good.
No. Don't talk about my mouth in the same sentence as pee in that. Now it's starting to be a real Josh and Roger discussion. Yeah, I don't know. I thought it was funny because it looks like eggs have been dumped all over the courses. It's really weird. I love it.
It's just the turn of the hour right now when we're recording this, and Salmon Run is now available. So as soon as we're done recording this, let's please play some Salmon Run.
Sounds good to me. To me. I need money in that game. I blew it all on clothing, so I need to stock up.
Yeah, I'm kind of the same. See, that's the good thing about the Splatfest, right? Is that like I usually just put on the gear that needs to be upgraded, and I'll play through, I'll get money, and then I'll end up using like the special bonuses that we get from Salmon Run to then get more money every time I play the main game. I love Splatoon 2. I love it. Like, I'm kind of like you. Like, I really enjoyed the game when it first came out, though. I was much more positive than you were, and I saw the potential, and I enjoyed the single player. But man, like what we're getting now is just like infinitely better. Now this game is like masterpiece level, hands down one of the best games on Switch. Like the style that I'll let you talk about it because you're a huge Splatoon fan. So like about the new Octo expansion thing, but like, oh my God.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. So for me, I really wish the game had launched like this. This was one of my problems. I just felt like this is all the stuff I would have loved to see in the sequel. But, you know, better late than never. I'm excited that it's finally coming. You know, one of the things, I think I talked with you about this in previous discussions, I felt like the single player was weirdly uninteresting, and I felt like it was work, and it just wasn't fun. It seemed like it was really thrown together quickly, but I loved it in the first game. So now to see that they're doing this unique thing that seems like it's almost based on challenges rather than just get through the level, I love it. This seems like what the single player maybe should have been, but whatever. It looks really cool with the whole underground subway stuff. I love all the weird new character designs. Some of them look disgusting, but I love it.
Yeah. Man, and then if you're going to do paid DLC, this is how you do paid DLC. Like a full single player expansion with like hundreds of new costume items and the playable Octolings and 80 stages. It's like, this is the right way to go about it.
Oh, yeah. And all that DLC, all the 100 gear, that's all totally free. And I think that comes in April, like towards the end of April. So it's really cool. I am getting to the point now where I'm seeing in the shops a lot of the stuff I've already seen or I've already bought. So it's really cool to see they're bringing new stuff. So I'm very excited about that. Coming up with Inkling style is a really fun aspect of Splatoon 2 for me. So yeah, that's Splatoon 2. Great stuff. Oh, and you know, we have to talk about this. You can play as Octolings now.
Yes. And I also wanted to point out, too, the little Easter egg of the GameCubes in the background of some of those challenge stages.
What?
You can see like trees made of GameCubes. Yeah.
What? How did I miss this?
I don't know, but I had a bunch of people tweeting it to me where it's basically like there's some of the trees in some of those challenge levels have like purple GameCubes hanging off of them, which I think is so funny and unique and weird.
Oh, my God. Well, I have to go back and look.
Characters, like, we didn't even talk about the other characters on that train, but like that crazy-looking blobfish guy.
Oh, yeah.
Like the face. And then they've got that like the blue crawdad who looks like he's a mafia boss, and that music during that segment where the Octoling is like swaying her way through the train, it's like, ooh, I love it.
Yeah, it looks really neat. I mean, everything about this update for Splatoon 2 is fantastic.
Yes.
Good stuff. And that was it. Hey guys, thanks for listening to the discussion. It was really fun talking with you, Roger. And maybe someday, listen, maybe at E3 we'll hear about Smash Brothers. What do you think?
Well, today,
What?
we have one more thing.
Well, what is it? What is this? More Splatoon? What is this? I don't understand.
Super Smash Brothers for Nintendo Switch coming in 2018. Entirely new game developed by Sakurai. Sakurai is a god. I am so happy. Playable Inklings, playable Champion Link. This is going to come out this year. There's going to be a blowout at E3. Josh, I can't believe this. Please bring me down to your level. I'm sure you're going to be... Wait a minute. What's that? You don't hate this? You love this too? Josh, can we both just rant and rave about how much we love this new Smash Brothers game? It's finally time. I love you, Nintendo. I love you, Sakurai.
Well, wait a minute. I know that I love Smash Brothers. When did you start playing it?
I love it.
This is amazing.
My room right now looks like it's a Splatfest. Oh my god.
You peed all over the room? No.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought this was kind of, it's the perfect time to announce it in a way because they just talked about all this great Splatoon information. Obviously, the way you follow that up is talking about Splatoon characters in Smash Brothers. It was amazing. I first thought when they were showing that, I was like, oh god, this is going to be like Splatoon is coming to the 3DS. That was my first thought.
For a brief second, I thought in my head they are porting Splatoon 1 to the Switch.
Yeah.
And I was like, I had the tweet ready like, oh, Josh is going to hate this so much.
Yeah, because I noticed like in it, I felt like the orange squid that jumped out of the ink looked a little more like chibi, and I thought that might be something they do for the 3DS. But then instantly after that, I was like, wait a minute, no, this looks way too high quality, and this totally feels like one of those videos that the Smash team made to introduce characters.
And such a cool little like nod to the original reveal of Splatoon at E3.
Yeah.
Because it's the exact same trailer, and then they just keep on like going on with her fighting the Inkling boy before we finally see that Smash logo in what is now an iconic image of the Inkling looking up, and then the Smash logo reflecting off the Inkling's eyeball. Dude, the chant theme in the background, they've got this like Gregorian chant like battle theme, and you see like Mario looking like a badass in silhouette with Champion Link and the fire and the other silhouettes of all the other characters. Like, neither of us, I think, truly expected that we would get a new Smash Brothers in 2018. We just had a discussion a couple days before this where it was like, what if they bring Smash to Switch sometime soon? And we were like, well, if it comes out this year, it's probably going to be a port, but we would be okay with that for this, and this. But now that we actually know it's a new game, and now that we knew there's Inklings in it and all this other stuff, I think we could both agree it is amazing that one, that's coming out in 2018, two, that it's a new game, three, that Sakurai is the one developing it, because I thought for sure if it was going to be a new game, somebody else would be on this. He wouldn't work himself to the bone again. But here we are. I'm so glad we were wrong. I'm just so happy.
Yeah, it's amazing. I mean, essentially, it sounds like Sakurai went into development of this game almost right after the Smash 4, wrapped up.
Once the DLC ended, yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's I made a video just talking about how appreciative and how amazing I am, or how amazing Sakurai is.
Yeah, of course.
So, yeah, he is what every game developer should strive to be. Really ambitious.
Is like the online service for Nintendo launches in September, right? Mm-hmm. We could be potentially playing Smash Brothers on Switch when we're on vacation in Disney World this year.
That is true. That is very much true.
Incredible. Those videos would be insane if we ended up getting a chance to do that. Those would be so much fun. Like playing Smash Brothers in line at the new Toy Story Land. Oh my God, it'd be so fun. So
yeah, that is very, very true. You know what? And it's just to go over what their moves could potentially be a bit. They clearly are going to use the bombs. What are they technically called? I forget. But, that is thrown in the trailer. So that'll probably be one of your projectiles.
Yep.
And, obviously shooting the ink, I think we all could have assumed that is going to be one of your projectiles.
For sure. I do like if the way you move around is the Inkling, like the cool unique thing about this character is if you like spray ink and then you could actually transform into a squid and like move fast across the stage when there's ink on the stage, or maybe it stays there temporarily and like if you jump on it and somebody else slips, like you have the potential of tripping. Like that would be the only way that tripping would be acceptable, because tripping is still in It's still technically in Smash Wii U and Smash 3DS when Diddy Kong throws the bananas, but this would be another way to implement it that would actually make sense strategy-wise, where like nobody else could really use it. If they ran on it, they would slip, but like if the Inklings go in it, they could move really fast and go around the rest of the stage. That would be awesome. I do wonder if like they're going to have weapon loadouts too, if they're going to have like the Splat Brush, or like they're going to, I don't know, have some of the other weaponry that they have, like a roller or something like that might be a cool down B. I don't know, man. I'm really, really stoked for this. And I love that, yeah, the boy and girl Inklings are both in this. I hope there's like other cool, fashionable outfits for them as well, too, aside from just their like unique standard look.
Oh, I totally would assume that it'll be like the villager in Smash 4, where you have a boy and a girl, and then you have like 3 or 4 variations of what they're wearing.
That's my guess too. Yeah.
In this trailer, you'll notice they actually, as they're fighting and shooting the ink at each other, it is draining from their ink tanks. So I wonder if in Smash Brothers maybe that will happen. So you can't just spam it all the time. You'd have to like maybe go back in like a thing of ink to recharge that.
I think that'd be awesome. Yeah. If you have to like micromanage basically using the ink, but the ink is like really, really good, I think that'd be freaking awesome. I think they were made for Smash Brothers from their initial release. And so to finally see them in there, I mean, we've been talking about Inklings in Smash for such a long time now. We thought it was going to happen as DLC in Smash for Wii U. So to see them as like the first headline newcomer in a brand new Smash game is just really exciting.
Yeah, and I think they totally deserve it. I mean, they're the most popular modern new Nintendo franchise. I mean, it really has taken off like crazy. So it makes sense. Just the weird satanic way they revealed this too, I think, is amazing. Like it's some sort of cult. Smash Brothers is a cult or something with all these weird.
Well, the first one they all got invitations. Remember, like the villager got his little note from the mail, and they opened it up and like joined the fray, and they all had the little splash screens. And in this one, they're just like in their worlds doing their own thing, and then suddenly, there's like some satanic ritual, and the Smash logo erupts, and you see all the silhouettes of like the original characters from Melee and then 64 just standing there like waiting for these newcomers. I actually hope they go with this style for all the future newcomer announcements. Like I think it'd be really cool if we end up, maybe potentially seeing like at E3 or something what appears to be an ARMS trailer where we see like Springman and Ribbon Girl fighting, and then all of a sudden like one of them is going to do their special techniques and they look up in the sky, and then above the arena like the fiery Smash logo erupts, and then added to that roster of silhouettes is now like the Inklings, and then like little by little all these newcomers get added to the Smash dimension or something. It's really cool. I love it.
You would know this more than I would because it's, I think, your favorite Smash Brothers game. The music that plays during that, some people were saying it's like a remixed version of Melee. Is that true or no?
It kind of sounds like it. So there was a really good video on your favorite channel, Game Explain, but I do think they could do a good job of this, is they did like a piano rendition of the notes that were in the background because it's kind of hard to make out. But if you speed up the notes, it does sound a little bit like Melee. It's off. Like there's some weird minor notes that are thrown in there, so I don't know if they were doing that just to mess with us, or if like maybe the notes were just held out in a specific way. But I do think those are going to be the notes, but maybe modified in some way for the new theme of the game. But one thing I loved is that like they're very clearly voices chanting, and so I'm wondering if like this is going to be the first Smash game with maybe not lyrics necessarily, but like a choir since Brawl. Because remember, Brawl had like that really cool "Oh, di fama mili."
Yeah.
It'd be so cool if they brought back that epic feeling choral orchestral soundtrack opening for the game. I think that'd be super great.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. I can't remember what the theme song for the Wii U game was. Did it have one?
Ba-da-bum, ba-da-bum,
oh, yeah.
There we go. And then Melee's ba-da-ba-bum, ba-da-ba-ba-bum. Ba-da-bum, ba-da-ba-bum. That's like the most iconic.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think even though Melee's not my favorite Smash, I think that's my favorite theme song for Smash for sure.
For sure.
And that intro is amazing.
Well, that's how I felt watching this trailer. I was like, I think we're going to get one of those intros this time around. Because the developer seems to be HAL Laboratories. Now, we don't know for sure. I've seen some people going back and forth on this because, sure enough, if you looked at like the main game screen for Wii U, it does say original game, copyright, Nintendo HAL Labs, and that's what it says technically in the trailer. But I do think that if Bandai Namco or Sora were developing this one, that would probably still be listed in this trailer. Because I see some people being like, oh no, it's a port. They're daft. Like, I don't know how you could watch this trailer with a new placeholder logo that's not even the same font as the Smash 4 logo that's got like a cross in a different direction with a placeholder name with the 2018 time and then the original game thing on the bottom. This is definitely a new game. And on top of that, like I saw my reaction retweeted by a bunch of Nintendo employees who I don't think would have retweeted my reaction when half of the time I was going, it's a new game, a new Smash game. It's not a port, it's a new game. So and it goes without saying, this is definitely a new game.
Yeah, I definitely. I mean, that would be the biggest troll of all time.
Yeah,
there's no way they wouldn't have made it clear. Listen, this is a port, an enhanced port.
Yeah, but man, I mean, just the idea that HAL might be developing this one has me frothing at the mouth as somebody who loves Melee. Because, like, oh my god, if they have the Melee team putting together the first Switch game, like, oh. And even like the characters that are in silhouette, I think it was so cool. Like, because I don't know if you went through and like tried to see which characters are in silhouettes, because some are clearer than others. Mm-hmm. There are some really good pictures of like the silhouettes that are on Twitter where people like zoomed in and wrote like highlights, and you can pretty clearly see like Bowser in there, Peach. I think Pit was in there, Donkey Kong for sure, Pikachu and Kirby. So it is kind of neat that they're showing those guys off first.
Yeah, totally. I really like that they're going. We talked about this in our discussion, which was, like I said on Twitter, perfectly timed, that discussion.
Oh my god, we couldn't have asked for better timing.
But we talked about how we really would like for them to update the characters to represent their more modern selves. So I think seeing Champion Link from Breath of the Wild I don't think that's just going to be cosmetic. I think that will be a totally new moveset, or at least like a revamped one. Because like the grapple hook, he doesn't even use the grapple hook in the hook shot. The hook shot, I should say. I
totally think it'll be a brand new moveset. I would guess, if I had to venture a guess at what his moves would be, I think the arrow will probably stay his standard B. That wouldn't make any sense to really change that. I think it's a good ranged move for him, and obviously you use arrows a lot in Breath of the Wild, and maybe it'd be cool if like every once in a while you can get an ancient arrow or something like that. Would be kind of neat. But I think his bow and arrow is probably going to stay his regular B. I think his up B is no longer going to be the spin attack. I think his up B is almost certainly I would put money on this, going to be Rivali's Gale. I think he's going to go up in the air and glide and use Rivali's Gale as his recovery. His down B will probably stay the bomb, but I think it'd be cool if they add like the remote detonator to it.
Yeah, they'd have to.
Yeah, they have to. So I think that'd be kind of cool if you press down B and to get the bomb in the first place, then you set it and then you press down B again to sort of like make it explode. Because that's kind of what Snake does with the C4s. Only difference is he plants it. So it would be kind of a cool, neat thing to have you like pull out a bomb the first time you use down B, throw it as if it was an item, and maybe someone else picks it up and then you just like immediately make it explode in their hands, or like if they're nearby it, you make it explode. That'd be kind of cool. Yeah. And then what is his side B? I'm trying to remember what Link's side B is in Smash.
That's the boomerang, I thought.
Oh, so it probably won't. I could see it being like Magnesis or something like that. I don't think it'll be the boomerang.
No, because even though you can get boomerangs in Breath of the Wild, it's not like that's an incredibly iconic weapon in that game like it used to be.
I think it'll be something more iconic, like I said, Magnesis, or maybe creating like an ice wall, like an ice block wall.
Oh yeah.
I could see it being something like that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, I hope they do that. It seems like they're hinting at Mario. We don't know. It's obviously he doesn't have Cappy on his hat, but it could be Cappy.
Well,
we don't know.
The thing is, though, Cappy, if you remember in the first Mario Odyssey thing, when he shows his hat and he throws it out, and then Cappy like popped up out of nowhere, I do think maybe we might be seeing that, because they did show Mario in silhouette, right? And they had like Champion Link there. I would be shocked if they go in and they actually revamp Link to be Champion Link and don't touch Mario at all when Mario Odyssey was such a huge success. I think at the very least his side B, which is currently the cape from Mario World, I think will definitely be Cappy. I could see them actually going back and making his down B the spin again to represent the Galaxy games. But I think his side B, for sure, it's got to be Cappy. I think the coin jump is pretty iconic. I don't think they're going to change the coin jump. I was going to say they could make his recovery like the launch star, similar to Rosalina, but then again, that's Rosalina's thing. So I think they could keep his up B, the coin attack, his down B flood, his B fireball, and then just the only thing they really need to add is throw Cappy in there as a side B, and we're good to go. You could change up his moveset a little bit, but I don't think you really need to change Mario all that much.
I'm down for changing as much on the characters as possible, simply because we've been playing as them like this for so long, and anytime I want to play like that, I can just pop in the Wii U game or the 3DS game, or
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, so, if they want it up, I have no qualms with that. I just think like there isn't as much there to change up, I feel, as there is with Link. I think with Link, it's like clear as day. They can really refresh his moveset. So.
Well, listen, Mario definitely has some cool costumes from Odyssey that they could have as alternate, colors instead of.
That's true. I want to see Final Smashes revamped too. Yeah. I'd like to see like Champion Link, or maybe even have like multiple Final Smash options. But like Champion Link, I could see like summoning all the 4 Guardians, like, and then they all shoot the giant like attack, kind of like what you do to Ganon at the end of the game. Would be kind of cool. With Mario, I think it'd be cool to have the T-Rex from Mario Odyssey. That'd be kind of neat. Summon this giant T-Rex that's stomping around the stage or turn into a giant T-Rex. That'd be kind of dope. One thing I really do want to see them add, because it's a character that's, again, pretty much confirmed. We've seen her in silhouette, and there's no way they would take her out. For Samus, did you play Mario's Metroid Samus Returns?
No.
Okay, there's a new thing that they added to Samus's moveset in that game, which is like the melee counter, where basically you could like counter back attacks and then stun characters. And considering how counter-heavy Smash is already, I do think that would be a really cool thing to implement into Samus's moveset in some way, as the melee counter. Because I think that is something that kind of Samus needs. Samus is a great ranged fighter, but at the end of the day, like Zero Suit is the much preferred character. Everybody plays a Zero Suit, so I would like to see like a melee counter attack with Samus. Would be kind of neat. And if they're adding all these new techniques from all the new games for these characters, I can't imagine they wouldn't add the melee counter to Samus's moveset. So.
Yeah, I mean, I think certainly modern Samus, she seems a lot more agile than what she was a long time ago. I mean, even Metroid Other M, you had those dodge moves that you could perform according to timing. So I think that would be a cool thing to make her more agile and, jump around more.
For sure.
So, yeah. Roger, does that cover everything? Oh, before we go, there was a super chat here that we should read out. It's a question. Here's the real question. How do you even define whether it's a new game or a port? Just the title, or is it more in the content? That is from KY Han.
Content, I'd say. I think if they ported over like all the garbage menus from the Wii U version, and they ported over like some of those modes that really didn't work, then I think it would be a port. But if they're like revamping a lot of the original base character, even if like some characters come back basically unchanged, like I can't imagine they would change Pikachu all that much. Like Pikachu's pretty good as he is. Same with Kirby. I feel like Kirby's pretty much okay as he is. So there might be some characters that come back pretty much the same, but I'm cool with that. It's just that like if they're revamping the art style and it's like a new engine and there's like new characters and new music and new stages, then I don't think it's really a port. And I think the way that Sakurai mentioned it on Twitter, he did allude to this being a completely new like experience, a new game. And the fact that there's a placeholder title, I don't even think this is going to be called Smash Bros. For Switch. I could see them giving it a subtitle similar to Melee or Brawl.
I really hope they do. Yeah, I kind of hate the name Smash Brothers for 3DS or Smash Brothers for Wii U. That just seems not clever. And the games are clever, so I feel like give it a name. Give it some sort of, because we don't say Smash Brothers Brawl, we don't say Smash Brothers Melee, we just say Melee or Brawl. So it's stupid to say, because we just say Smash 4, which seems stupid, but yeah. I'd like a subtitle.
So many good synonyms for, for fight. You could do skirmish, you could do scuffle, you could do altercation. Now they won't do altercation. But you know what I mean? Like they could do a lot of crusade. I mean, there's a lot of really cool things they could do.
Yeah, I agree. I totally agree. And just to add to the idea of what defines it as a port and what defines it as like a new game, I think all of the Smash Brothers in some way they're not ports, but they bring over old content. So with this Smash Brothers game for Switch, I fully expect to see stages from the Smash 4, right? I expect them to bring some of those over. I would be sad if they didn't.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of great stages in Smash 4. In particular, I love the Star Fox stage. The Star Fox Assault stage in Smash Wii U is freaking one of the best stages in all of Smash. And that's coming from somebody who is a huge competitive player of Smash Brothers who doesn't really like the party stages with lots of crazy things going on. But man, like when I'm playing just like for fun and not for glory, I love that Star Fox stage. I would love to see that come back, especially on a handheld. That would look beautiful. Mm-hmm. So bring that back. And I would much rather them pull from Assault than that other Star Fox game that we don't speak of.
There wasn't a Star Fox game after Assault, Roger. That's the last one they made.
Assault was the last one. You're right. It's the last one.
Yep. And it has really fun multiplayer in it.
Exactly. Yep.
So yeah. I think that's, I want there to be some content from the old games, and I don't think that would qualify as a port.
From the old games. The one thing I am hoping for, though, that is if they make a lot of cuts to the roster, because it does seem like a new game, and it would take a lot of development time unless they were just going to port the characters over, maybe I should just save this for a video another time, but like I do think that they should bring back a lot of the first party characters they added in the Wii U one. Like I'm thinking of just a bunch of them off the top of my head, like Duck Hunt Dog, Rosalina, the Villager, even though a lot of people didn't like him, I think Little Mac is really cool to represent Punch Out. I mean, there's just like even Bowser Jr. I'm not even a huge Mario fan, but I thought Bowser Jr. was so cool, like having the Koopalings and stuff like that. So there were a lot of really neat first-party additions the last time around, and I would love to see as many of them come back as possible. But again, I should probably do a video on that. Like, we should actually do a discussion on that, like the top 5 first-party characters from Smash Wii U we'd like to see make a return for Smash for Switch.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you know what? The floodgates are open. There's a new Smash Brothers announced. There's going to be lots of discussing this all over the internet.
Yes, yes.
Do you think, Eddie, here's a final thing to end this on. Do we see more from Smash at E3?
Oh my God, of course. This is going to be one of E3. I think at E3, they're probably going to blow out Metroid Prime 4 with like an official reveal. They will probably get like a trailer of that. We will definitely see the reveal of Fire Emblem at E3. We didn't see it during this Direct. They already said it's a 2018 game. That is going to be at E3 for sure. We're going to get a lot of Fire Emblem. We're probably going to see a lot of Yoshi. I think Yoshi might have changed since the last time we've seen it, considering Labo getting announced and stuff. We might see like Labo integration for Yoshi, so that will be there for sure. And then, of course, I mean, Yoshi, Metroid Prime, and Fire Emblem are all big in their own right, and then to have Smash Brothers on top of all of that, in addition to like maybe announcing some stuff for 2019, this is going to be unequivocally one of Nintendo's best E3s, I feel like.
Well, remember I was saying that traditionally the E3 after is usually the biggest one, like the second one is usually the biggest.
I didn't believe you. I was like, how could they do it after Zelda, Mario, and Xenoblade, and yet here we are now, Smash Brothers and Fire Emblem and Yoshi, and potentially Pokemon even too. I mean, all those hiring things have gone out for Pokemon. They haven't said anything about Pokemon yet for Switch. They announced it at last E3. They said that it would probably be out in a little over a year, so I'm assuming that might be like holiday this year or March of next year. So if that's the case, we'll probably see Pokemon at E3 too. Like, this is going to be a big one, I feel.
Yeah. I remember after this Direct, I sent you a message on Twitter, and I was like, oh my God, it's so amazing. And I was like, can you imagine if we get like Pokemon, Smash, maybe even like Pikmin or Animal Crossing this year?
I mean, I feel like Pikmin and Animal Crossing, we might actually end up seeing now. Yeah.
I mean, at first I remember you were like, oh, I don't think that's going to happen. And I was like, listen, an hour ago, we would have never thought Smash Brothers would be new and coming out in 2018 and shown off in March. So Nintendo is not a company you can ever predict. I think we just need to come to terms with this.
That's true.
So yeah, I think that kind of covers everything in the Direct. We had about an hour little chit chat here. Any final words about it?
I think this is one of the best Directs they've ever done. I think in terms of announcements, just pure – because, I mean, if you think about everything they announced on top of Smash – like Smash, of course, already makes it a win. And that the fact that it's a new Smash game on top of that makes it a win. But I think with everything that was here for Splatoon 2, like I genuinely cannot say enough good things about that Octo expansion. I think that looks incredible. I think adding that with like, even the new minigame collection with WarioWare, and even though there was a miss there with Luigi's Mansion, I think like a lot of the ports they announced, like the third-party games coming, like Undertale and Okami and Crash, South Park. I mean, there's stuff there literally for everybody. We haven't even talked about the awesome Dark Souls amiibo with like Solaire getting his own amiibo. I think that is such a freaking cool thing to add. They're putting him in there. So yeah, I think all in all, this was an absolute win of a Direct. They knocked it out of the park. And I told you after the mini Direct that we were going to get a big one in spring. Don't worry about it. There's going to be big stuff announced. And you were like, I don't know. So here we are. This is the Direct we were waiting for. And I think they absolutely delivered. Only like big franchises missing, I'm thinking, are like things they would probably save for E3. So yeah.
Pikmin and Animal Crossing, baby.
And Fire Emblem. I know you're not a huge fan, but for me, it's like one of my biggest franchises. So.
Go for it. Bring it on. We didn't talk about this. I know people will leave a comment really quickly. No More Heroes. They showed that off finally. What are your thoughts on that?
Looks like garbage. I loved those games on Wii, and I don't know what this minigame collection thing is, but it looks like garbage.
That's what I thought. So I've not really played the games, but I thought when I saw that, I was like, oh, is this going to please fans? This looks like a minigame compilation.
No, I think if you go back and watch my full live reaction to the Direct, I think that's when I was like tweeting out stuff talking about how cool it is they're bringing Okami over and Undertale. I did not care about that at all, which is a shame because I do love that series. I just don't know what the heck Suda is thinking of making like a minigame collection. They did tease that there's like an adventure mode, but why would you not show that and instead show like these weird minigames? Like, I don't care about this.
All right. Well, I think that officially
Dark Souls amiibo. Then I care about No More Heroes.
All right. Yeah, I'm not really a huge fan of that series. I don't hate it. I just never really got into it. But that was something that struck me as a bit odd. For me, you know, the only thing that really kind of like, and it was a big one for me, the thing that upset me was Luigi's Mansion. It's like in my top 3 games, honestly. And obviously I'm obsessed with Halloween, so I'm biased towards it. But that one hurt pretty hard. That hurt more.
Wait till 2019 E3 when they announce Luigi's Mansion for Halloween time, and you'll be good. Or when they announce, you know, this was like a fake leak before the Direct, but they said that there was going to be like Luigi's Mansion DLC for Mario Odyssey or something.
That would be cool.
So yeah, maybe. In fact, I could see them doing a Luigi's Mansion Mario Odyssey expansion pack around that October timeframe to really like give Mario Odyssey another boost for the holidays, and it would make sense during that time because they could tie it in with Luigi's Mansion on 3DS, and and really make a push for it around Halloween time. That would be really cool.
Yeah, I definitely agree. And you know what? I'm going to be stupid, and I'm going to hold out hope that we eventually do get some sort of HD version of the original Luigi's Mansion. I don't think this, throws it out because we got, Captain Toad and Hyrule Warriors did it, and so
exactly.
I'm going to hold out hope. Roger, thank you so much for hanging out with me. I felt like we definitely needed to talk about this Direct. This was one of the bigger ones in recent memory. Sure.
And I'm happy that there's finally a Direct that you're happy with. That makes me happy.
Well, Splatoon looks amazing. Smash looks amazing. WarioWare, what the hell? I'll buy that on the 3DS. And there was a few other games. I was like, all right. So not
Okami,
bad.
you'll definitely pick up Okami.
Oh, Okami, yeah. I will. Yeah. You know what's really weird? I'm almost tempted to buy it and then not play it until I move to Florida again in January, so that I can relive those memories.
I mean, you could. Why not? Yeah.
All right, guys. Hey, if you want to follow Roger, he is, of course, RogersBase on YouTube. You've also got the Game and Vlog. Game and Vlog.
Yeah, Game and Vlog. You got it.
You're going to be doing some Kirby stuff soon, maybe?
I am, yeah. So I'm probably going to get Star Allies next week. I have a Bayonetta video going up soon, too. But I don't know, that probably will be on my main channel because it's like a skit kind of thing.
Okay.
But I don't know. Maybe I will because it's been kind of busy now between all the Smash stuff and One Piece and Attack on Titan. And I'm going to South by Southwest next week in Austin. So, like, I'm doing Alienware stuff. So I'm really busy. So I don't know if that will go on the main channel. But at the very least, there will be Bayonetta and Kirby stuff on Game and Vlog really soon. And Pokken stuff, too. I'm going to have Shofu's brother over soon. We're going to play through the new Pokken DLC. Have you played that? You probably haven't. You probably don't care about Pokken at all. But
I played the demo.
Yeah. Pokken is a really great Pokemon fighting game. If you're a fan of Pokemon, I definitely would recommend that. I think it's currently the best fighting game on the system, tied with ARMS. Though I do think a lot of people would enjoy Pokken more than ARMS. And the DLC is really fun. Aegislash is a really fun new character. They're adding Blastoise. They'll probably add more DLC characters because there are empty slots on the screen. So, yeah.
I thought just in the demo I enjoyed Pokken Tournament more than I enjoyed all of ARMS. Just throwing that out there.
I mean, there you go. Yeah.
All right. And you are, of course, at RogersBase on Twitter.
Yep.
I am at JoshyFunTime on Twitter, but you won't be able to get any response from me on Twitter for like a week because I've been banned for a week, as I was telling Roger earlier.
You want to tell the adoring fans why you got banned?
Sure. I was banned on Twitter for a week because I told some imbecile who was calling people Nazis to drown themselves. Don't tell someone to drown themselves on Twitter, even if they themselves are a maniac, Roger. Lesson learned. So yeah, guys, thanks for tuning in. And by the way, I just want to promote a little something. In about a day or so, I will be releasing a 20-minute video giving my thoughts on Luigi's Mansion for the 3DS, and also it's got a little bit of a mini review in there for Dark Moon. So check it out.
Cool.
We will talk to you, lads and lassies, later. Say the catchphrase, Roger. There you go. Why do I always have to tell you? All right, so long.